This particular feed isn't working.
Yeah. For whatever reason. Oh, there we go. Look at that. See that?
What?
We're in.
So don't write what I'm writing?
No. Well, no, it's the old. This is a new link I got to send. I got to drop this in the chat on that one. Welcome to the show, you holzers. Yeah, this is we try to keep it lively in here. Make sure.
Wait, okay. So they got the new link, right?
Yes, they got it. John, can you hear us?
Somebody. We're live. Look, John says we're live, but John Waby, can you hear us, buddy? John's a solid guy.
Oh yeah, he's got us. Thanks, John.
His presence.
Expands.
No, it calms me.
It's calming, right? Yeah. It is. It's very calming. Well, okay. So here we go. Hope, 2.
We're going to do the thing again.
4, 5, 6.
Guitar check. Hey, everyone. Sounds good. Miles. Yes, very good, John Waby. Thank you, Greg. Sorry about that little stream mix-up. That hasn't happened for a while.
So, that's still the highest-selling jazz album of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Is Kind of Blue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Boy, that's tough when you're when your highest-selling album of the medium
1959.
is from 1959.
Yeah, right, yeah.
We can't say it's a sound quality issue.
No.
It's maybe the Soviets.
For me,
okay.
I think, in terms of my jazz listening,
right?
What I listen to, it's usually the golden period, like 58 to 62. I'm not just talking Miles,
right?
Brubeck,
yeah.
Coltrane.
Which Coltrane?
John.
I mean, but which album?
No, I'm just saying any
Coltrane.
Okay. Yeah, or just him as a soloist in other people's groups. I'm just saying that time right there is that's my personal sweet spot as a jazz listener.
Yeah.
I've done deep dives into Charlie Christian and people from other eras and what have you, but man, for some reason that's just kind of the
well. I mean, the discovery phase of jazz is important.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you're not using a DX 286, PC necessarily.
What's that?
So it's exactly.
No, I don't know what that is though.
It's like an old PC. I think
it's a computer.
Yeah. So if you enjoy Dixieland jazz or you enjoy like 1920s jazz, then fantastic. Yeah. My preference is that analog period of jazz.
Welcome to Office Hours.
Oh, sorry about that.
I don't know. You know what?
What do you guys like?
I was wondering. Someone asked me the other day, what's the difference between the guitar show, the Wednesday guitar show, and Office Hours?
It's even more laid back.
And I have no idea.
Yeah, no.
I still don't know.
So Office Hours, if they were cigarettes, right? We would be the Virginia Slims.
Oh.
Like you're painting on a ladder, and you're puffing in between. Yeah.
But I'm not like a Marlboro Red.
No, you're not a Camel Wide or a filterless. No.
I've never smoked cigarettes. I don't.
Neither have I. But I would know that if I was going to.
Sketches of Spain.
Sketches of Spain. So Sketches of Spain is really that's the Gil Evans arrangements, and then there's my favorite part of Sketches of Spain is if you listen to it, you can hear there's like a background version, sort of a behind the scenes version, and you can hear all the profanity and the this throat clearing. You gotta get
none of this is good. This is all bullshit. It's like, it's a bunch of crap. Let's just do it anyway.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, I'm enjoying this version of this.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. Never meet your heroes or listen to their background chatter.
Yeah. In particular, Buddy Rich. Stay away from his background bus speeches. So my favorite period of jazz is like the post-bop era of jazz, which is, we're talking Hank Mobley, we're talking like Art Blakey. So it's basically like the 60s. Yeah, and some of the 50s too.
Yeah.
But the reason that's my favorite is because bebop was so unhinged. It was a little too disordered for me.
I got you.
Yeah.
And we understand that was, of course, in something like jazz, but in any of our music idioms, it's all chronological. I was saying like just one thing comes after the next, and that really hot bebop period where it is really just these people are just going.
Yeah.
Well, they had to. It's almost like they had to burn through all those notes and scales and ideas,
Right.
in order to get to the cooler period.
Right.
So it's all necessary.
Yeah.
And then that's why we're allowed to
It's
have our
age
preferences.
dependent too. You know, the
Very.
younger you are.
Yeah, I just want, give me all the hot stuff now.
But for example, play this chord for me. Play B flat major minor seventh. Minor major seventh. I'm sorry. So it's like a minor B flat minor seventh of major. Okay, so if we hear this sound, this is the sound where most people leave wherever you are, right? So they're like, okay.
Why is he putting...
So that scale, the melodic minor scale, birthed what we know as the type of jazz that truly probably killed the medium. No, that actually that created Steely Dan, that created Michael Brecker, that created
I was thinking the Brecker brothers.
yeah,
in general,
and but even some of the more pop jazz stuff and everything that we hear now in R&B and soul that's got all the idioms and approaches of like different styles of music amalgamated, but harmonically and melodically it has this scale and its modes all over the place.
Sure.
And so when you look at the melodic minor scale, it's really actually the major scale with a minor third.
Oh, sorry.
So it's the major. So if you just play a B flat major scale at home, which is B flat, I guess maybe we'll move to
Wait,
C.
do you want this chord? No. So play the scale.
You want to play just the scale?
Just play the scale for them so they can hear
You
what
guys want to
you're
hear
talking
just
about.
okay, yeah, that's what that. Okay, you got it. Spyro Gyro, yeah. That's a pretty darn good intro to jazz, though.
Oh, that's heavy stuff.
Dizzy Gillespie was on the Cosby Show. Minor note. Anyway, so here.
Yeah, he was.
Here's-
We just thought about that.
You just thought about that the other day?
Mm-hmm.
He was on the Cosby
He had
Show.
the Jews
And he
harmony.
did-
I love you, Rudy. And then he did the thing with his cheeks. Yeah. It's a good guest spot.
I don't have it. Okay, so here's just the scale. Ready?
That's different. Is that the one that's different?
This is
going down?
regular, just melodic minor up and down. Now, if we were in classical music, if the powdered wigs are out, you're going to play melodic minor on the way up. And then once you reach the octave, you're going to play regular minor on the way down.
That's what. And by the way, that scale, especially going up, and that's
Sure.
it's a lot of space, almost whole tone ish for a moment.
Because it has a wide interval.
So
in
I'm
it.
just saying,
Yeah.
it's a very open, wide open sound, which is
Sure.
attractive.
Attractive if you're on drugs, Eugene. It's attractive to all the people that are stuck in their minds.
Okay,
Greg, you can change this.
If you
It's
say so.
okay. Yeah. Not to change the subject. Do you know?
I know I don't.
I
mean,
know.
I know it sounds like that.
I know some
know
of
how to
Spanish.
play it.
Boy, I used to know Spanish Fly all the way through years ago.
Did you really?
I would be afraid to play it.
Wow.
Yeah. Years ago, I was pretty much all Van Halen
Greg,
stuff.
do you know what is there is? It was funny. You mentioned something years ago about Eddie, where something like he really was playing. He's like playing shapes more than it wasn't as though. And probably did listen to a lot of classical music too, but
Yeah.
but he was just playing shapes.
Yeah, so it's so I would
Whatever thing.
in my circles it was called the Van Halen sequence, which meant only to Van Halen. But it was like, so if you just have this is literally
Just
so
875, 875, 875, 875.
now that doesn't mean he didn't play scale shapes though.
Sure, of
But
course.
but when he was playing fast stuff with tapping and other techniques, a large part of the time he would use these like just shape dependent patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think maybe one of the biggest parts of Van Halen's playing that comes to the mainstream is obviously just incredible technique, but also like modal playing that is largely pentatonic in its at its root, but still has a modal sound to it. And prior to this,
The Beat It solo.
yes, exactly. It's basically the
right when
yeah.
you're describing that, I can hear it's like, geez, what key's that?
So
Is that E minor? What
so this
key
is
it?
all.
What key is it in?
It's an E minor.
It is an E minor.
That's all just the pentatonic, like a huge wide pentatonic shape.
Wait, is today his birthday, or he just would be 71 today?
Hold on. Let's see. I thought maybe if I revealed, because we have you larger like a jitterbug phone right now. So, but no, I don't know. Would he be? Is today his actual birthday, or is it just
That's
he
what I'm
would
asking.
be?
I don't know. He said, because like he could just be. He could have been. He would have been.
So there's that part, and then there's also all the other special techniques. So dance the night away, man. I like who does?
What a beautiful melody to tap it out. Yeah,
I do like these were around before Eddie Van Halen, but I mean not.
Yeah, but he also
You know,
it's
not
the
really.
context, but the context of now I'm speaking about Van Halen the band. It was very telling. David Lee Roth said in an interview years ago. He says, "Don't forget they formed in the '70s.
Yeah,
and they're here in L.A.
the 70s.
And,
Okay.
what was that?
Gas shortages.
Okay, no, we don't.
You know, we got Iran Contras coming up.
You want to do a montage?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oscar winners of
Yeah.
no, but just to play in the clubs, disco's the big thing,
Right.
and so they learned how to play stuff that was danceable.
Right.
I've probably spoken about this before. So no, even though David's doing his shrieking and stuff, and obviously Eddie's doing his thing.
He's doing his thing. Today's Eddie's birthday.
Today's Eddie's birthday.
Wow. Thanks, Greg.
Happy birthday, Eddie.
Wherever Eddie.
And so, but by the time it got to writing songs, if you want to get some original songs to get them working up, David, if you listen to everything's within a certain BPM range, like that was still good for the dance floor. Dance the Night Away has dance in the title, but even like Running with the Devil's kind of like on the slow side tempo wise for them, and then they never did anything that was like uber fast. Obviously, they could play really fast had they wanted to, but they were still thinking in terms of the dance floor. So their songs grooved and their songs never went on too long. I mean, imagine Eddie could have soloed as long as Duane Allman, I'm sure, but their discipline was just different as a band. So my point is, and then Ted Templeman and Warner Brothers and all the influences they had on the business side was like, okay, do you want to have hits?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, we do. And
okay, well,
and so the magical thing is that we got to hear Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing.
Right.
Well, the world did just by turning on FM radio.
Right.
It was just because they played by the rules of all the other metrics that really get you like up there.
Yeah.
Right.
The way you could get in front of everybody's face. So you play all these, play the games, you play the rules.
Front man, and a great rhythm section, and then they just happen to have this out of the box genius on his particular instrument.
Well, and then genius in more ways than one, and that's usually how that presents, right? So, this is why I make the joke about 8 billion people in the world, 7 billion are EDM producers. It's mostly accurate, but if you think about the genius of Eddie Van Halen is he was a producer of sound. He built his own guitars.
Oh,
he modded his own amps.
Yeah, modded everything.
Probably every single thing.
He was never done with the
and
guitars,
by the way, it
right?
was like a tweaker's nightmare. You're just constantly editing this, and that's what I don't even inventors do. You know what I mean? It's not even just genius. It's more like iterators too. So why is Eddie Van Halen so interesting and so ubiquitous and just won't go away? And it's like, well, because so rarely do people come along that shift a paradigm like that and that are inventors in every category of their doing. Mm. And if you think about it, there's no sure bet about what Eddie Van Halen's doing. It's the opposite of buying the norm. He's making his own gear. Well,
okay.
I mean, this is the opposite. Like, the fact that he got to be in front of everybody's face in this thing is an outlier.
That's what
it's
I'm
a
saying.
Total outlier.
That's my point. It was like, okay, no, like not many rock bands have a personality like this.
No.
On full display.
Right.
Occasionally you get it. Occasionally you get
sure
the harmonic wisdom and invention of a Brian Wilson,
right?
Who's also in a very popular, making #1 singles at a time.
There's the LSD, and that helps a lot. But
that's sort of ends up starts to be undoing of him. I'm just saying, like, I mean, he could have just been teaching, jazz arrangements at some Midwestern junior college. With that
if that. I mean, it could have been worse than that. And I think it's like,
look, that's a great. It's a great.
No, but it could have been. He could have been in total obscurity because people that play to the beat of their own drum and truly do that don't care what you think. They don't care what you think, and that's why they're so interesting. Yeah, sure. Because they don't care, and they don't care in such a way that when you look at them on a personal level or you look at certain aspects of their life, they might not seem like maybe I'm not saying they are mean, but they might not come off as the nicest people. They might not have the most tact. They might not have been reasonable to work with, Prince. And they might have all these things where when you start parsing it out for personality, you might not even like the person.
That's a different metric.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but we just transferred the talk into a totally different metric.
Right, fair enough. But
nice person? That's a totally
that's a different thing.
Well, I think the guy, Tony Asher, who
is Santa Claus
no,
nice?
I'm sorry,
no,
Tony.
but he gets Christmas Eve done.
That's Tony Asher, who wrote the lyrics on the album Pet Sounds, right? It was the only time he worked with Brian Wilson. He was the lyricist. And basically, Brian would have all these songs where he had these melodies and chords and stuff, and he'd say, "I'd like the song to be about blah blah blah," and Tony would basically write the lyrics, and it was so successful on that one album. And Tony Asher later, and it seems brutal on paper, and of course I never heard the tone of his voice when he said, but he was asked about Brian Wilson at one point, and he said something like, a very inventive melodicist, and he flattered him musically, just not a very successful human being.
Yeah,
I think that was the word he used.
Yeah,
and
yes, Greg, I'll play it for you.
And I'm thinking that's probably just an accurate assessment.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that he delineated the two things.
Yeah,
because both can be true at the same time. You can play Master of Puppets.
Yeah, let's see. Does that help? Yeah. Sorry. So that's locked in there from junior high.
Someone asked me the
that's
other
not
day,
coming out.
A friend of mine.
You did it.
What?
That's a double ask. We've got.
Oh.
So it's a.
Oh, wow.
When you want it, you want it. You know what I mean?
Someone asked me the other day, and I believe she plays piano. She doesn't play guitar. She's a singer, a friend of mine. And she says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is this to play? And she sent me the song. Oh, gosh, I'm going to forget her name. The song was called Mother, Mother, I believe.
By Danzig?
No.
Mother!
No. Is it Tracy Bonham?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now, it's funny because if I remember, it's a bar chord. It's an E-shaped bar chord. So it just moves down chromatically,
right,
4 half steps. And I said, scale of 1 to 10. How do I answer this? I don't know. I'm going to call it maybe a 6, and here's why.
Yeah.
There's just one chord shape to know.
Sure.
So if you can successfully, by the way, if you're a beginner though, playing an E-shaped bar chord, not the easiest.
Well, I was going to say, how hard is this to play for whom? Yeah.
And I assumed for her. And then I said, but the thing is, the right hand, this shuffle, there's muting, there's syncopation.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not even probably playing it right, but it's something in that ilk. And so I just said, scale of 1 to 10, I'm putting in a couple of factors here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's by the way, I also had someone ask. It was online. Someone DM'd me something. And actually, they'd asked me and our friend Brian Whelan, and said, "Hey, in your opinion," he said, "because I'm not a guitar player, so I wouldn't really know the, but would you say Glenn Campbell was the best guitar player? Because to me," and he kind of
It's pretty damn good.
Well, my genuine response, because I take these questions seriously.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, well, I personally avoid
saying, yeah, the best.
The best.
Yeah.
There's just no way to adjudicate that. I said, but
Van Halen.
in terms of guitar players in general, and I was, they'll get really specific of Western music.
Yeah.
Glenn Campbell, he could take space with the best, best of them, if you will. Like, he could stand shoulder to shoulder with Jerry Reed and play, and
you wouldn't have known that unless you saw him play in a lot of contexts, because he wasn't always shredding. You know what I mean? But he could
he's playing rhythm on a Sinatra record.
Exactly.
So I always I try not to think about anything as best.
Yeah.
Restaurants, coffee, movies, guitar players. I just try to stay away from the word best, because I think we get caught up in ranking things so much. YouTube is full of top 5 this, top 10 that.
Sure. Yeah.
And I've had to take part in those things, because that's just the lingua franca. That's where we are.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm just thinking, I would rather just say, here's 10 of my favorites, or here's 10 examples of blah 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 I would love to share with you.
Well, and so when you say the word,
wouldn't get any clicks.
If you stick I in there, because what's being stated is a subjective opinion.
Obviously.
Best.
Yes.
So once you say I, it's actually the best, because if you think it's the best, it's the best to you. But in terms of how do you rank something that is not numeric in any sort of objective way? So if you say this is the best, it's like, well, what are we using to determine that? So when people don't like who wins the Grammys, or they love who wins the Grammys, it's sort of like there was no way to ever do this correctly, in a sense.
No, it's very, very difficult. It's funny you say that, because well, first of all, especially I would say particularly with art, where it takes time for that stuff to sink in.
Yeah.
Now people are going to put the
Roy Clark.
Obviously, you're just going to
Roy
list.
Clark's a damn good one.
You're going to list a bunch of really great guitar players, as you should.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say that Roy's better than Terry, or Terry's better than Roy, or anything like that. It's just kind of I don't know, man.
Who played this one?
That's Reggie Young.
Okay, I really like him.
Yeah.
And
I think we did a kind of a Reggie Young-ish episode
a long time ago.
Well, because so and then again,
and that's not the only one.
No,
his intros are fantastic.
Reggie Young, he was a session guitar player in Muscle Shoals and in Memphis, and then eventually in Nashville. He was a session guy, and
I thought it was Gary Clark Sr., but it's Reggie.
No,
Young. Okay.
and the thing about Reggie is I actually don't know if the guy could play burning fast jazz or anything. I actually don't know.
Sure.
What I do know is that he created that intro. He also created the intro to "Son of a Preacher Man."
Sorry.
Exactly. He also created the intro to, and just came up with the.
Oh, right. Caught in a trap. It's a good one. What about Dock of the Bay? Did he play on Dock of the Bay?
No, that's Steve Cropper.
Okay.
But so Reggie Young, just came up with a lot of these really, really catchy, appropriate, soulful, tuneful intros and licks and things, and
I think those are hard to come up with.
After a while, after you've learned all your scales, you can play them as fast as you want. You've learned all your modes. You can do all this. To what end? I'm only saying subjectively. I'm a song-based type of guy, and so to me, Reggie Young, George Harrison, Mike Campbell, these are the type of guitar players who were always playing in these song contexts.
Sure.
And they had a bigger influence on me than kind of, than a lot of your kind of
faster players.
just sort of guitar heroes necessarily.
I mean, they
but that's
both
just
really have their place in terms of like
everything. Yeah,
it's okay when a painting is painted, right? You don't care how fast it was painted.
no, that's a good point.
This is a false equivalency, but still, like when you hear a song that you absolutely love and that transports you every time you hear it back to 19 whatever,
Right.
You don't care how fast the people are playing it anymore.
No,
you know what I mean?
Now I'm gonna seemingly argue against myself here, but
Okay, here we
I think
go.
it's worth it.
Everybody ready? Get your calculators out.
Reggie Young's intro to Drift Away has the advantage of being rather ubiquitous for 50 years or so, right? So there might be an album that came out last year that has, or a song that has a really great guitar intro, but it just doesn't have the nostalgia, emotional weight of what Reggie does. I don't have like a childhood memory attached to some guitar lick that just came out last year, but I do to this. So that's my point. Though, is like art needs time to kind of settle in and kind of create its own legacy, or we create the legacy around it. I think someone has a theory like the best picture Oscar, they should just give out the Oscars 5 years after. So
Because we don't really know what's going to last.
it's sort of like no one's trying to think of the year that The Shape of Water won Best Film. And I don't know the last time I've had a conversation about that movie, but I know a lot of people, we still talk about Get Out, which was nominated that same year.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them just has more legs. Impact, if you will. And art's really, it's really just, I don't know, it almost seems not fair to reward or give
Can
it
I
awards.
tell you guys-
Of course, it's Grammy week, and so I have all sorts of people I'll be spending time with because they're in town.
Schmoozing.
A lot of schmoozing.
Schmoozing.
It's on Thursday. Well, yeah. So because we're doing the Roxy show on Wednesday.
Steve Gaines.
With Steve Gaines. And we have all these guests. We have Charlie Crockett and Marcus King and Lucas Nelson's going to be there. Grace Potter. Who else? Oh, and Shooter Jennings.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. But it's so funny how because of the Grammys,
Sure.
it's kind of like my manager said I gotta be in LA.
Yeah.
I don't have a manager. I'm just saying, like, if you're an artist, like, all right, I gotta
Well,
get some here for Grammy week.
There is epistemically. Epistemic hygiene time. Everybody, can we put that at the bottom, Derek? Derek's not there.
A friend of mine gave me his EpiPen right before he died, and like he really wanted me to have it.
He wanted you to be epistemically hyged. All right, so the coefficient between all of these paradigm shifts in shared appreciation,
Is this a math quiz? What's happening?
in agreement versus correctness, whatever you want to call this, right, is non-destructive versus destructive editing. Once we were able to reiterate something endlessly on digital, we came up with an ability for everyone to make music as long as they wanted to, as many times as they wanted to. And that's where we're at now. We're at a point where everybody can make music, and there's not going to be any one person necessarily that's rising up all the time, with rare exceptions. So you're right. I mean, the fact that these songs became shared, appreciated material is part of what makes them unique unto themselves. And that's something that's sort of going to be less common, but not gone. So I think it's it's an epistemic. That was the epistemic minute. It's the least popular minute of the stream usually, but it's still there.
I have no idea what that was.
You did some discovery on the guitar. What you didn't know what that was?
I know what you were saying.
Non-destructive editing, digital recording is what changed it all. Yeah. You guys can tune back in. Turn the volume back up. Good. Okay, we're back.
So guitar-wise, I had a question from a friend, an artist named Leif Vollebeck. He's a Canadian singer-songwriter. Plays guitar and keys. And is
Wait, can you say the name again?
Leif Vollebeck is his name. Leif Vollebeck.
Anybody want to take a Try to spell that.
And it was really beautiful music. And on Sunday, I'm at home and I'm watching the National Football League games, the conference championships, of course. And I get this text from him, very much out of the blue. And he's, Eugene, I am taking part in a Neil Young tribute, and
Wow.
I've got my fuzz, I've got my Les Paul, and I've got my fuzz pedal, and I've got my tone like right where I want it.
I know where we are in Neil
thinking,
Young's
okay.
career. Okay, got it.
And he says, but how do I? Two things. Like, how do I maintain this tone but not be too loud, like just overall volume? And two, how do I, when I play it in a band situation, it muddies everything up.
Wait, which one?
His fuzz, like
Okay,
his
yeah.
fuzz.
Right.
So these are really like, I thought, okay, so well, I'm not there, so I'm going to take a guess at these. Second thing first, roll off the bottom end of your in terms of your tone. If there's a bass control on your amp or whatever, now he happens to have an EQ pedal that he uses a lot.
Yeah.
So he knew exactly. Okay.
Okay.
Which of course
It's always good to have an EQ pedal.
Sounds awesome
Yeah.
by itself.
Can we know
you
the
love
name
it.
of the fuzz pedal?
He didn't tell me, so I don't know. So because this is a general thing for everybody.
Okay.
We got a tone. It's like, sounds great, da da da. And then, but then if you start playing it take that tone and put it in a band, you've got kick drum and tom toms. You've got a bass guitar. You've got maybe the left hand of a keyboardist.
Right.
So there's other information in that lower bass range.
Sure.
And it gets muddy. It gets lost in it. You're just like, what happened? My tone was great at home.
Right.
So just roll that bass off.
It's kind of a good guitar
Just
suggestion
in
overall, by the
general,
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the first thing, so my suggestion to him was, well, it seems like maybe you want to send the sound of your Paul going into the fuzz, and you've got all that done. Send that into something that's going to have to act like a preamp that can converse with your overall amplifier.
Oh.
So
I like this converse.
And so yes, so I
Anthropomorphizing
suggested that maybe even like a very clean boost pedal. Send your perfect fuzz tone into that, and that's going to have a volume basically on it, a clean boost. That's just going to have an overall level, right? And then send that to your amplifier, which has a master volume.
Yeah.
So that way now you can maintain your tone here in this clean boost pedal and modulate it, meaning like louder, softer. So if you've turned the amplifier, you have to turn it down to acceptable. But then as you're doing that, you can actually turn your clean boost kind of up. You're kind of like just kind of like you're kind of doing this a bit. But at least the fuzz pedal, you don't have to move anything because you don't want to mess up your tone. Your Les Paul, you don't have to change it. Like, I love where this is set. I love where the fuzz pedal set. Now this clean boost pedal, which would be behaving as a preamp, or they make preamp pedals. They do actually.
Oh yeah.
Then that's just going to be the buffer in between that, and listen, the guitar amp is basically just acting as the thing that controls the volume of that speaker.
It's almost like a full range speaker, in a sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you ever, that's just kind of my.
It's your theory to gain staging.
My theory to gain staging, helping out a friend.
So one thing about fuzz pedals is there's generally two circuits. There's harmonic fuzz and then there's like FET fuzz. So regular fuzz on a guitar just sounds like really clumpy, thick, square wave distortion. Harmonic fuzz adds an octave, usually, away from the original signal.
I don't know if, I'm sorry to interrupt, but example of that would be Buddy Holly by Weezer.
Yes, actually.
When you hear that. In fact, when we did a deep dive on that solo back on the Fipple show, and I remember having to dial in a thing, and maybe you create. Well, no,
I don't know.
You maybe for the Mustang. I remember kind of added an octave pedal in there to give that just to make sure that was there.
Exactly.
But that's what we're really mimicking. So
And
continue, sir.
Well, so here's one of the biggest notes. Distortion is natural compression. So if you add a lot of distortion to your signal, you're going to make your signal smaller. You make the dynamic variability. So like if you play this note really loud, clean, versus really quietly, that's called dynamic variability.
Sure.
So like think of it on like a wave scale.
Yeah, of course.
So when you add distortion to your tone, that wave gets much smaller. And when you play a Les Paul, it's notoriously smaller than if you play a Strat.
If you just turn like a tube amp,
Yeah.
if you crank the volume, and it starts to get that tube distortion, that's actually it's also going to simultaneously compress.
It will compress your sound a lot.
That's just naturally what the tubes are.
And you'll hit harder, and it will get quieter. Correct. Actually. Yeah. So that's what the effect of compression is. When you have a lot of compression, is actually louder moments get quieter. It's the notorious of bad mastering too. So if you think about fuzz, when you turn a fuzz pedal on, usually you actually have to turn your output gain of the fuzz a little bit higher because you're actually going to make your signal quieter when you turn a distortion pedal on. So it's really hard to know how to use pedals until you play a gig with them. It's hard to know if you like an amp until you play a gig. It's hard to know if you like a guitar until you could love it in your room.
But that's a vacuum.
But
and, you know what I mean? Like, I mean vacuum, but I'm just like, it sounds great. And then you take it on stage, like, okay, either it just gets buried.
Yeah.
Or
you can't the stupid controls. I can't get to this freaking,
It happens.
Paul Reed Smith.
But it was funny that when Leaf texted me about that, about 2 hours prior to that, I had gone down to my local deli to get a sandwich, and
it's a mob.
It's a
mob front.
It might be.
Yeah.
No, it's called Galco's in Highland Park, and if you're ever in the area,
Swedish mob.
It's it specializes in like really rare sodas, and they have a lot of beer too, but like Grape Knee High and Moxie and these brands you didn't know
they existed.
And candy, really old fashioned regional candy, they still stock it.
Oh wow, okay.
And there's a great sandwich counter in the back. But when I walked in, and they always play, I don't know if it's satellite or I don't know where they get their overhead music, but it's always fantastic, and it's oldies, but not your typical oldies. And right when I walked in, Don't Worry by Marty Robbins started. Right when I walked in, that is a record from 1960, and it is the first time, it's the first of fuzz. And Grady Martin.
The very first use of fuzz.
Very first use of fuzz.
That's a Les Paul made fuzz, didn't he?
No. So the story, real quickly, is a little history for you.
Yeah.
Don't Worry by Marty Robbins is the record. Now, again, a little genre history here. Around this time, late 50s, early 60s, some artists, country artists, Nashville artists, they would make records specifically to try and cross over to the pop chart where all the real big money is. So they would cut records that had no steel, no fiddle, no country significant instruments, right? So Marty's cutting one of those.
Yeah. Really
good song, Don't Worry. And Grady Martin, who's the head honcho of all the A-list guitar players in Nashville at the time, he was playing a Dan Electro baritone. Yeah, it's a baritone. And he was playing it directly into the board.
Oof.
And
nasty.
I don't know if it was on purpose or not, though, this part. I don't know if they knew the channel was blown.
Yeah.
Or they discovered it when he went to play, and
they're like, well, it's recorded.
But they decided to go with it.
Yeah.
And of course, with this crazy sound, they decided, can't use it. Wait till the guitar solo in the middle.
Yeah.
So the song's going along. It's great. It's a Marty Robbins and then everything stops, and you hear this. The first thing he actually plays is he is.
Yeah.
He just plays the melody.
Yeah.
But with everything, he does this elongated bend on a baritone guitar, and it was just like, it's crazy. And so this is like 5 years before Keith Richards uses it on Satisfaction.
Yeah.
But anyway, they put it on the record, and it is a really big hit, by the way. This is and for Marty. So then everybody wanted that sound.
Can I say something?
Please.
That would not have happened with non-destructive editing.
I was hoping you would say that. Yes.
Because you had to put mistakes into the performances because you had time limits, limited tape, limited runs.
Or you learned how to lean into
mistakes, by the way.
I don't know if they knew that ahead of time. I was like, hey, this is blown. Let's try this. Or when it was like, oh my God.
But that was the best cut. The best.
So that engineer who was on that session, everybody wanted that sound.
Right.
And it's like, well, you have to have a blown channel. So that engineer figured out a way to recreate that.
Right.
In a box.
Sure.
And it was Gibson that bought
Made the first,
and made
yeah.
the Maestro fuzz
Right.
pedal.
I don't know if Les Paul was involved in that or not.
No, he was
but
not.
Yeah,
No,
probably
he
not.
wasn't. And then it's sort of like, guys used here and there, but
Right.
But it wasn't till Keith Richards, their Cutting Satisfaction, as you probably all know the story.
Where it's really
Keith intends for that to be a horn riff,
Right.
like a la Otis Redding. I think he was under the impression they were cutting a demo, or at least
you can tell
or
if
at
you
least they
listen
were gonna,
closely.
or at least they were going to overdub horns to it.
Yeah.
And they said, well, look, when the horn part comes, just step on this thing. Someone just ran around to the music store
Yeah.
and brought back, like, just step on this. And so he does. and
That also probably wouldn't have happened.
next thing you know, well,
Yeah.
here's the other. Next
Yeah.
thing you know, he hears it on the radio.
And he's going, blimey, mate, it's all
What's our demo doing on the radio? Well, it's going to number one, Keith. So anyways, that's a little like the little fuzz history, if you will. I just
This is
is
why
this Office Hours?
Yeah, this is what Office Hours is like. It's a
A
very
Hello Kitty fuzz pedal. Cool.
This is why in mastering and mixing and production they call this don't finger F word this to death. Because
Sure.
you can just make something so perfect that it loses any appeal whatsoever, and you don't ever care if you hear it again. So it's like things being raw, it's going to come back, you guys. I all the kids I teach at these colleges, they're all getting reel-to-reels. They all what's the most highest selling medium of music? Physical copy music. Vinyl. Not by a little bit, not by some, by miles, by the way. And so whether or not they're all listening to it or not, I don't know. We'll have to.
It's interesting. I saw an interview with Giles Martin, who's the son of George Martin, and Giles essentially is usually the guy in charge of a lot of the recent remastering of Beatle catalog things. And
It's quite the pedigree.
it's quite a pedigree.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part he makes pretty good decisions. Anyway, but he said how and it came time to
Is he remixing or remastering?
remastering.
Oh.
That's and he'll make these like I don't. But
Some of these are mono recordings too.
so with Revolver
Yeah.
mono,
Yeah.
he now has access to the technology that Peter Jackson used for the Beatles' Get Back documentary.
Oh, okay.
So the one of the main impetus of that 7.5 hour documentary that came out 5 years ago was Peter Jackson had this technology where there's this new technology where the computer can sort of like, you talk about selective hearing, seductive listening.
Sure.
You can train. This is AI. You can train the computer to basically learn what the sound of an electric guitar is, and it does, or learn what the sound of blah 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 is. So, in a lot of the audio of the Beatles' Get Back sessions, there were microphones everywhere, and they're Nagra tapes. Nagra was a brand of, so it's like I think it's 1/4 inch tape or something like that.
Wow.
So it's all this audio on 1/4 inch
tiny
tape.
tape.
But you'd see George Harrison talking to someone and saying something, but you also hear like Ringo tuning drums,
Sure.
or there's just chatter on stuff.
Right.
Love to know what George is saying there. So they're able to like remove all the other
Sure.
sound and hear what George is saying.
Yeah.
So that's why that's how that whole thing really came about, was because of the sound technology that we now have. Now, and so then when it came time to remaster Revolver, as a curiosity, he sent the audio of the Revolver, the master tapes, to New Zealand and to the guy who kind of heads that for Peter Jackson. This is, does it work on this?
Wow.
And the guy sent back like one isolated guitar, one isolated vocal, and one isolated bass from one of the songs from Revolver. How did you do that from a mono? It's like, because the machine can do it now.
Yeah, right.
So now he has
Sure.
the ability, if he wanted, he really could completely remix this, because he could actually create individual stems of stuff.
I got bad news. We all have that.
So,
Yeah, we all have that now.
No, right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he said, but the fact of the matter, so like I think he talked about the song "I'm Only Sleeping," right?
Oh.
You know that
Yeah,
one?
yeah. I had this album, by the way. So this one.
Wake up early in the morning, lift my head, and I'm still yawning. It's got backwards
These are good
guitar.
kid songs, by the way.
Really,
I like it.
He says, I was able to clean up so much, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And so I listen to it. It's like, it sounds awful. It sounded terrible. Because
It's an abomination.
This is because the dirt and the sort of like fuzzy, sludgy, dreamy murkiness of "I'm Only Sleeping," like that's the thing. And he says, so he learned, and of course, he learned from his.
That's that's one of them, John.
He learned that just because he could,
doesn't mean you should.
He should.
Yeah.
He says there were certain things like
it's pretty good.
He could make it like, okay, the finger snaps on here, there, and everywhere. There's a little more clarity there. It's just that's basically from the tools of mastering.
Sure.
Not using this extractive AI stuff. Look, there could be benefits to this technology. We might be able to, solve a murder case. I don't know. We can do really wonderful things with this, but
a lot of hot mics.
And we may, lot of hot mics out there. As long as we have to add our humanity and we have to have like a moral compass, functioning at times with these sorts of things.
Well, this means we have to be conscious of these elements. So I think ultimately this is a net positive for music because I think
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I totally do.
I think that general society has to become more conscious of music. Music for the last 10, 20 years
really been gabbing.
We've just been like,
is this a good hang, guys? I really don't. Is this we only got a couple of guys here, but
no, there's all kinds of people in the wings over there.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, there's at least a couple hundred people there. There you go. It doesn't matter. By
the way, John. I'm sorry I didn't say. Sorry to change subject, but the EQ pedal. I think for years people just used that as a boost pedal.
Which EQ pedal?
Well, the Boss.
The Boss one.
That Boss one with the little white tips.
We used to use it to solo, so we could get the solo up out in front. It was a mid.
Well, he says it also, and you could also do tone shaping, but you could just use. I knew players in the '80s who used them basically the way people now use a clean boost.
Yeah.
A really good trick with those, by the way.
Yeah.
Those, is it usually was it 10 bands?
On those, I think it's 8.
Okay,
6 or 8.
So here's a fun tip: if you have an acoustic guitar with the pickup, okay, send it into that EQ pedal that has like the 8-band EQ. And I don't know the order, but essentially just the band furthest to your left, turn that all the way down.
Okay, that's 660.
The one to the immediate right of it, turn it all the way up.
800.
Then you move the next one over, turn it all the way down. Next one over, turn it all the way. So basically just do that, and it will sound like a dobro guitar.
Oh, cool. I like it.
I was watching a Texas artist named Pat Green.
Yeah.
And we were doing some shows with him in Oklahoma. And they did this one song, and his acoustic player just playing like a Martin.
Yeah.
And for one song, and then like he didn't change it. I'm like 10 feet from him, side of the stage,
right,
digging. And then they play some song, and he basically
got a dobro sound.
Plays a dobro.
Yeah.
Like another. The heck
That's
just
hip.
happened?
That's hip.
So apparently this is an old trick. I just did not know it. So have fun with that one. Have fun with that one, kids.
Wow. I guess we should end it there then, huh?
Yeah, because I'm going to go home and make a steak.
We both got stuff to do. I'm going to get ready for. Okay, hey everybody, thanks so much for being here today. We hope your office is in order, your house is in order, your office is in order. You're
starting to get sidetracked. You're already thinking about taxes.
I'm already thinking about.
I could tell. I
hope your 1099s have the right address on them.
The W-2s are coming in.
And the 1099s are coming in. So I really hope you've been keeping track of your mileage.
Thank you, Greg.
And you've been.
I just could tell where this was going.
So thank you guys for being here. We'll clip some of this, by the way. We'll get great clips out of this. Epistemic hygiene. That'll be a regular time there. And we'll see you guys again soon. So have a great week.